NASCAR's middle-aged megastar, Harry Gant. A couple generations ago, the NASCAR world was a bit different. You didn't have to be a young up-and-comer with sponsorship money to find a quality ride. Harry Gant is a prime example of this fact. Not making his NASCAR Cup Series debut until 1973 at the age of 33. Then, really, not beginning to find victory lane until 1982 at the age of 42 in the Cup Series. He would go on to fight for a couple Cup Series championships and win plenty more races. This video is a quick synopsis of Harry Gant's racing career. Originally, realizing he had a knack for driving a car fast, when Gant was challenged to a race in a street car. He won his first race against the challenger in the opposing car. Like most racers of the time, Gant got his start racing short tracks back in 1964, when he and his friend Bernie Curley built a hobby stock car. Once the race car was built, Gant and his friend took turns racing it at Hickory Speedway, back while the track was still a dirt track. The next year, in 1965, Gant became the full-time driver and won the track championship, making the jump up to the late model Sportsman Series in 1966, driving his own Chevy Impala, making 6 races. Things would change for Hickory Speedway in 1967, when Ned Jarrett became the promoter. Jarrett paved the racetrack, and Gant was even better, winning his first late model Sportsman division race. By 1969, Gant made his first run at the late model Sportsman division championship. Yes, this division was a precursor to the modern-day Xfinity Series, but was structured much different. Races were run on local and regional racetracks, with some drivers running 3 or more events a week to get as much points as possible towards the series championship. From 1969 to 1967, consistently, Gant was winning. In fact, winning over 200 races and finishing second in final points 3 times in the late model Sportsman division series in 1969, 1976, and 1977. Gant's NASCAR Cup Series debut came at Charlotte in the fall, driving for Jenny Dunleavy, driving the number 90 Ford to a respectable 11th place finish. While still racing the late model Sportsman division series, Gant made occasional starts in the NASCAR Cup Series from 1973 through 1978, making 5 starts in 78, 4 of which were in a number 12, owned by Kenny Childers, even scoring a top 10 finish, 7th place in Atlanta in the fall. Harry made the first of 3 starts in the 1979 season behind the wheel of Childers' number 12, with the best finish at 10th in the Daytona 500. Following race 3 in Rockingham, Gant left the number 12 team. After 3 races had passed since leaving the Childers team, Gant finally had him a full-time ride in Jack Beebe's number 47 Race Hill Farm Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles, starting at race 7 in Bristol. He started 17th, and after a decent showing in the first part of the race, his engine expired around lap 385, leaving him to finish 21st. Throughout the rest of the season, Gant's best start was first at Pocono in the summer. This was Gant's first career pole in the Cup Series. His best finish was 6th at Martinsville in the spring. Overall, in 25 starts, Gant scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 0 top 5s, and 5 top 10s, finishing 21st in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. As he did the previous season, Harry Gant returned to Jack Beebe's number 47 Chevrolets and on the Super Speedway's Oldsmobiles. Also running 3 races on the 1980 NASCAR Cup Series schedule for Raymond Enterprises' number 75 team. Gant's best start in the number 75 was 8th at Texas World Speedway in the early summer, and his best finish in that number 75 was 7th at Riverside in the summer. Now in the number 47, Gant was a force to be reckoned with some weeks. DNFs added up and really limited the team in the championship point standings. Gant's best start in that number 47 was 2nd twice, at Richmond in the spring and Bristol in the fall. His best finish was 2nd 3 times, at Bristol and Richmond in the spring and North Wilkesboro in the fall. Overall, in 31 starts, Gant scored 9 top 5s and 14 top 10s, finishing 11th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The 1981 NASCAR Cup Series season started out very uncertain for Gant. In the first 8 races of the season, he made starts for 5 different teams. In race 8 at Darlington, he made his debut behind the wheel of Mach 1 Racing's number 33 Skoal Bandit Buick. Championship-winning crew chief Travis Carter served as Gant's crew chief once he began driving the number 33. Mach 1 Racing was a race team owned by Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds. Once Gant joined their team, his career began to really take off, scoring 3 poles and 6 second-place finishes by season's end. Overall, in 31 starts, Gant scored 3 poles, 0 wins, 13 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing 3rd in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Gant's decision continued to pay dividends by joining the number 33 711 Skoal Bandit Buick race team in 1982, spending all but 1 week inside the top 10 in point standings, and 13 of which were in the top 5 in points throughout the season. Gant's best start was first at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was first twice at Martinsville in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. The victory at Martinsville was his first career Cup Series victory. Overall, in 30 starts, Gant scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings, as well as making 5 Busch Series, now Xfinity Series, attempts, qualifying 4 times. Behind the wheel of a self-owned number 77 Skoal Pontiac. Gant's best start was first 3 times at Darlington, Dover, and Charlotte in the spring. His best finish was first at Charlotte in the fall. Overall, in 4 Xfinity Series starts, he scored 3 poles, 1 win, 1 top 5, and 2 top 10s. Harry Gant was in the midst of his first run near the top of the sport, behind the wheel of Mach 1 Racing's number 33 Skoal Bandit Chevrolet. 1983 through 1985, Gant was always near the front of the pack, winning 6 poles, 2 at Charlotte, 1 in the spring of 84 and the other in the fall of 85. Rockingham in the spring of 84, Darlington in the fall of 84, Bristol in the spring of 85, and Atlanta in the fall of 85. Harry wasn't only fast on qualifying day, he also went to victory lane 7 times in the Cup Series during the same 3-year period, winning at Darlington twice in the spring of 83 and in the fall of 84, Dover twice, both the fall races in 84 and 85, Pocono in the summer of 84, Martinsville in the spring of 85, North Wilkesboro in the fall of 85, with season-ending points finishes of 7th, 2nd, and 3rd. Also winning the International Race of Champions, or IROC, Series Championship in 1985. In fact, Gant and Darrell Waltrip tied in points for the series title. Gant won the title because he finished higher than Waltrip in the final race of the season. Now, by the time the 1986 season came, the Mach 1 racing team began to really fall off a bit, in large part due to the 14 DNFs in a 29-race season. It was almost as if they made it to the finish, they would finish in the top 10, with Gant scoring 13 top 10 finishes. His best start was first twice, at Pocono in the summer and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was second 3 times, at Richmond in the spring, Michigan in the summer, and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, Gant scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 9 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 11th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. If Gant was disappointed with his 1986 season, he was downright disgusted with Mach 1 Racing's decline over the next couple seasons in 1987 and 88. With a best start of first at Bristol in the spring of 87, and a best finish of 6th twice at Bristol in the spring of 87 and the summer of 88. Mach 1 Racing had fallen and fallen hard, racking up an insane 37 DNFs in a 58-race period, only scoring 7 top 10 finishes during this same time period. Things really started to look a bit grim for the aging driver as far as his NASCAR Cup Series career was concerned, though you never know what might be waiting for you right around the corner. In the Xfinity Series, Gant started running a limited schedule for Ed Whitaker behind the wheel of his number 7 Buick for the 1987 and the 1988 seasons. Gant's best start was first 6 times at Dover and Charlotte in the fall of 1987 and 1988, Richmond and Rockingham in the fall of 1987. His best finish was first 8 times at both Charlotte races in 1987, then Darlington in the fall of 1987 and 1988. then Richmond, Martinsville, and Rockingham in the fall of 1988. In 28 Xfinity Series starts, over 2 seasons, Gant scored 6 poles, 8 wins, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s. After Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham had been serving as Gant's car owner since the 1981 season, prior to the 1989 NASCAR Cup Series season, the pair sold the team to another pair, the Jackson brothers, Leo and Richard. The Jacksons put future championship crew chief Andy Petrie atop the pit box for the number 33 now Oldsmobile team. There was an immediate improvement over the previous few seasons, working his way through the teens and into the top 10 in points by season's end, even returning to victory lane in the spring. Gant's best start was third at Daytona in the summer, and his best finish was first at Darlington in the spring. Overall, in 29 starts, he scored 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 14 top 10s, finishing 7th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Again, running a select schedule in Ed Whitaker's Xfinity Series team, making 16 starts. Gant's best start was first at Dover in the spring, and his best finish was first twice at Darlington and Rockingham in the fall. Overall, scoring 1 pole, 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. As NASCAR moved into the next decade, the 1990s, Gant remained behind the wheel of Leo Jackson's number 33 Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile full-time for 1990. Only missing race 6 of the season due to the death of his father. This season's stats were just a little bit behind the solid season that the team just produced the season before. Gant's best start was second at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was first at Pocono in the spring. Overall, in 28 starts, he scored 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 17th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Gant continued his success in the Xfinity Series, driving Ed Whitaker's number 7 Buick, making 15 starts. His best start was first at Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was first twice at Darlington in the spring and Dover in the fall. Overall, in 15 Xfinity Series starts, Gant scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. At the age of 51, Harry Gant and the single-car Leo Jackson-owned number 33 team he drove for won more races in 1991 than Gant ever had before in his career in a single season. That Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile was competitive all season, especially in September that season. Maybe there's a reason they call him Mr. September. Gant's best start was first at North Wilkesboro in the fall, and his best finish was first 5 times at Talladega in the spring, then Darlington, Richmond, Dover, and Martinsville in the fall. Gant would set the record for the oldest winner in Cup Series history by winning at the age of 51, winning 4 races in a row. Overall, in 29 starts, he scored 1 pole, 5 wins, 15 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Gant not only found a ton of success in the Cup Series in 1991, he also dropped in on the Xfinity Series for 16 starts throughout the 91 season, again driving the number 7 Skoal Buick for Ed Whitaker. Gant's best start was first at Darlington in the fall, and his best finish was first 5 times at both the Richmond races, then Dover, Charlotte, and Martinsville in the fall. Overall, in 16 starts, he scored 1 pole, 5 wins, 10 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. In the midst of a career resurgence, Harry Gant was strong again in 1992, spending all but 1 week inside the top 5 in points throughout the season. Gant's best start was third at Martinsville in the fall, and his best finish was first twice, at Dover in the spring and Michigan in the summer. This would end up being Gant's final career Cup Series victory. He also beat his own record as the oldest driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race at the age of 52. The record still stands today. Overall, in 29 Cup Series starts, he scored 2 wins, 10 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings for the 2nd season in a row. On the Xfinity Series side of things, Gant continued to run a limited schedule for Ed Whitaker's number 7 team. They picked up Mack Tools as a primary sponsor in 1992, making 16 attempts, qualifying 14 times. Gant's best start was 5th twice, in Michigan in the summer and Rockingham in the fall. His best finish was first twice at Richmond and Bristol in the spring. Overall, in 14 Xfinity Series starts, Gant scored 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Leo Jackson's number 33 race team switched manufacturers from Oldsmobile to Chevrolet prior to the 1993 season. Gant would never find the level of success he had achieved just the previous couple seasons. Then he decided to retire at the conclusion of the 1994 season. His best start was first twice, at Atlanta in the fall of 1993 and Bristol in the summer of 1994. His best finish was third at Pocono in the early summer of 1993. Overall, in 60 Cup Series starts, Gant scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 4 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, with a best points finish of 11th in 1993. As Gant did since the mid-1980s, in 1993 and 94, he continued to run a select schedule driving Ed Whitaker's number 7 Chevrolet. Gant's best start was first twice, at Bristol in the summer and Dover in the fall of 1994. His best finish was first in Atlanta in the spring of 1994. Overall, in 33 Xfinity Series starts, Gant scored 2 poles, 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 11 top 10s, with the best points finish of 23rd in the Xfinity Series point standings in 1994. Handsome Harry indeed retired from active competition at the conclusion of the 94 season. Though once bitten by the racing bug, it's hard to shake the want to compete in side-by-side active competition. In 1996, Gant ran a select schedule in the Craftsman Truck Series, behind the wheel of a number 33 Westview Capital Chevrolet, owned by Bob Best. Gant's best start was 8th at Nashville Fairgrounds in the late summer, and his best finish was 8th twice at Flemington in the late summer, and Richmond in the fall. Overall, in 11 Craftsman Truck Series starts, Gant scored 4 top 10s, finishing 24th in final Craftsman Truck Series point standings. Also in 96, Gant filled in for an injured Bill Elliott for the 1996 All-Star race, behind the wheel of Elliott's number 94 McDonald's Ford. Gant started 14th and finished 15th. In 2009 and 2010, he ran a couple of all-star exhibition races that consisted of other retired stars of the NASCAR circuit. Gant's best start was first, and his best finish was 6th, both coming in 2009. His on-track talent earned him a spot in the NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers, which was chosen in 1998. Then, in NASCAR's 75 Greatest Drivers, chosen in 2023. Also being nominated to go into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in the class of 2026. So, in 474 NASCAR Cup Series starts, Gant scored 17 poles, 18 wins, 123 top 5s, and 208 top 10s, with the best points finish at second in 1984. In 128 Xfinity Series starts, he scored 14 poles, 21 wins, 52 top 5s, and 71 top 10s, with the best points finish in 19th twice, in 1988 and 1992. In 11 Craftsman Truck Series starts, Gant scored 4 top 10s. In closing, the fact is that Harry Gant was quite the wheelman, finding success in almost anything he drove, getting his start a bit later in life than most. Harry Gant was quite the wheelman, finding success in almost anything he drove. Getting his start a bit later in life than most allowed him to become NASCAR's middle-aged megastar. Thanks for watching, everybody.